Hey guys, I'm Mike Avenaim, and we're at my drum studio here in Los Angeles, California. Some of my recording credits include Scott Weiland, Tori Kelly, Emblem 3, amongst many others. Today I'm going to be going over the Beyerdynamic mic range and specifically going over what they sound like on the drum kit. So I'm going to use the M130, the M160, the M201, and the M88. And what you'll gain from watching this video is you'll get to hear what they sound like on the individual drums, plus actually what they sound like in my preferred kind of setup and what I would tend to use on a record, and how you really can just use Beyerdynamic mics for a record and get a full album sound. So let's get into that. So what you just saw was the M160 and the M130 in a mid-side configuration. Really great for picking up like big room drum sounds or anything like that. The M160, it's a hypercardioid double ribbon microphone, so it's really great for getting anything you directly point it at. So it's good for hi-hats, snare drum, toms, anything like specific where you need to capture just that. Unlike other ribbon microphones like the M130, it's figure eight, so you're picking up everything from the front and from that back section. So those are really great for room mics. It's really great for stereo overheads and other things where you need that ambient sound. So what I'm about to show you is an example of the M130 in a stereo pair, and then you're going to hear an example of the M160 in a mono overhead setting, which is, what John Bonham did for the Led Zeppelin thing, or When the Levee Breaks, or other big like rock drum sounds of the 70s. So let's check those out. Now we're going to check out the M201 on the snare drum. This looks like a condenser mic, but it's actually a dynamic. It's cardioid, like most dynamic mics. And it tends to have a lot of detail, and I can get a lot of low end out of this mic like I usually can't do, and I would need to get, boosting on a 57 with some EQ or compressing to get like more out of it. And this seems to just really get such a big sound of the drum while still being really accurate. So let's listen to what that sounds like. This is the M88TG. It's a new version of the M88, which was really famous for being used inside the Motown kick drums. I'm using it in the kick drum and on the rack and floor because it's really good for any low frequency instrument. They've also reinforced the capsule so you don't have to be afraid of like really getting it in there or any kind of big SPL. Okay, so now what you're going to hear is all of the mics set up in the configuration that I like the most. Over the last few weeks, I've been playing around with these mics and trying to find what works, and they really work in any configuration, but this seems to be one that I would actually use on a record. So I'm using the mid-side configuration with the M88 inside the kick, just a little bit inside the hole, the Tom's M88s, M201 on snare drum, just a little bit off the head, and then the M160 is a mono overhead. I did try it with the M130s, and the space is really nice, but there's just something really awesome about that direct thing right in the middle of the kit. So let's just check out what that sounds like. Okay, thanks again for watching. Hope you learned a lot about the Beyerdynamic range and how maybe you could incorporate these mics into your setup. I've definitely used these mics on pretty much every session I've done in the last few weeks, so highly recommended, and thank you again.